Welcome back. This is lecture 5. I hope you've had some things to think about since that last lecture, and I hope you did the exercises. Actually, I had the exercises up on the screen, and I didn't have 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 3, and 4 through 7, so sorry about that, but I hope that you were able to um, work on the exercises and that you're beginning to get the concept, if you hadn't already, of how to get the main idea and the supporting points out of a Bible study. Well, let's talk now about the basic approaches or styles to a Bible study and to the types of messages that we can present. So we've become acquainted with the Bible study tools available to us, basic principles and techniques of Bible study. What's the basic design of the message? So this is an important choice because there are two basic types of Bible message. There's the expositional message, sometimes called an expository message, and there's the topical message. Sometimes you can combine a little bit of both, but those are the two basic types. On this lecture, we will focus on the expositional message. Expositional message is all about taking one passage and basically exposing what's in there. That's expositional. Expositional messages focus on a single specific passage of Scripture in order to find its meaning and determine its application to the audience. In expositional messages, issues come out of the text. So, in expositional messages, I'll repeat that, issues come out of the text. In other words, it's not you coming to the passage with the points you want to make. That's called deduction. That's not inductive Bible study. You're not coming to the passage with the ideas already in your mind. You are approaching the passage and the ideas are coming, or the issues are coming out of the text. You will be allowing the passage to raise the points and set the agenda for the message. I guess you'd say this, that the passage of the Bible is in charge. You're just exposing what's in there. So let the passage speak for itself. After all, if the Bible is inspired by God, then God is speaking through that passage, and it's best that you let him speak. So that's what an expository or expositional message is all about in a very direct way. So how do you go about doing this? Well, let's use the basic principles and techniques we've learned thus far. Understand the text in its cultural and historical setting. Okay, so understand whatever the cultural issues are that's going on, the historical issues that's going on in relationship to that particular passage of Scripture. Then find the transferable truths that are in that. You know, the basic truths that are not cultural, but that apply across cultures. And then apply those transferable truths into the culture of the audience, excuse me, that you are speaking to. For example, in a series covering the book of Psalms, let's say you're going to do an expositional series in Psalms, which means that you're going to take a psalm by psalm, or at least selected psalms out of 150 psalms that there are, and you're going to be taking, individual psalms, and you're going to be doing an expositional message, exposing what's in each of the psalms. And let's say you get to Psalm 23. Using the tools available for Bible study, you will want to, first of all, become familiar with the setting, the cultural setting of Psalm 23. It has to do with sheep and shepherds. But not just any sheep and shepherds. It has to do with sheep and shepherds of ancient Israel. What was the ancient Israelite shepherd like, and what did sheep expect from the shepherd, I guess you'd say. So you'd first become familiar with the culture of sheep raising in David's times. Then you use a word study to clarify the meanings of any Hebrew words in that passage that shed special light on the meaning of the English translation. So for example, Lord, the Lord is my shepherd. You want to look up Lord. That's actually the name of God in that passage. We say Lord, it's translated Lord, but it's actually Yahweh. That's because the Jews didn't want to say the name of God lest they take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, see? So they would always substitute Lord for the name of God. And so that's worth looking at. You need to look at that word. How about the word soul? That pops up. The words rod and staff. What are those and why are they important? The word anoint. I could go on. You could pick out the important keywords in that passage that you would want to study. Then you'd want to find the main idea in the passage. Something like, just as the shepherd takes care of the sheep, so my Lord takes care of me. Something like that. It's very simple. And then the supporting ideas, all the different ways that the shepherd takes care of the sheep that are analogies with the way that God takes care of us. Once you've found this information, you must then decide how the passage applies to your audience. I mean, what shepherds and sheep have to do with your people that you're preaching to? And then you construct a message that clearly and engagingly communicates that message to them. So remember that for an expositional message, you should mainly confine yourself to the single passage and how it applies to your audience. We're going to discuss the other option, the topical message, in the next lecture. So here are some exercises before you move on to that next lecture. I'm going to ask you this. If you were going to do an expositional message on Genesis 12, 1 through 8, talks about Abraham and his calling, what are the cultural issues and word studies that you would need in order to build a good expositional message of that passage? That's an exercise that you're going to be doing. From Acts chapter 2, verses 36 through 47. What are the cultural issues? What are the word studies you need to do? So these are your exercises. You'll find the exercise given to you in this lecture. See you in lecture 6.